Revolutions are loud, but the moments before them are quiet. Everyone remembers 1981, the year government and binding theory exploded into the linguistic world at glow. But the revolution wasn't born in that spotlight. It was forged in silence, the year before. 1980. At MIT, Noam Chomsky is writing. Not one, not two, but three manuscripts that would quietly dismantle old syntactic frameworks and lay the foundation of modern grammar. No fanfare, no lectures, just language being dissected and reconstructed from first principles. These works are what I call the trilogy of 1980. On binding, the rulebook. Rules and representations, the philosophy of syntax. Early MIT lectures, the blueprint. Together, they formed the prelude to government and binding theory, setting the stage for a revolution in the way linguists understand syntax and the mind. Let's start with On Binding from 1980, when Chomsky asked, "Who can refer to whom?" Imagine two sentences, John saw himself, and John saw him. Why does the second sentence feel off when referring back to John? Before 1980, syntax lacked a systematic explanation. Linguists used ad hoc rules for reflexives and pronouns, but nothing unified. Chomsky asked a seemingly simple question: under what conditions can a noun phrase refer to another noun phrase? The core problem was, syntax needed principles, not endless rules. On Binding introduced binding theory, later formalized in GB. Principles introduced. Principle A. Reflexives like himself, herself, must be bound in a local domain. Principle B. Pronouns like him, her, them, must not be bound in that local domain. Principle C. Our expressions such as names must be free everywhere. Central mechanism. See command, not new, but now the engine of binding theory, a structural relation, not linear order. A word can only bind another if it C commands it in the tree. Let's deep dive with examples. First, local domain. Grammar treats sentences like rooms, where binding rules apply. John washed himself is correct as local binding allowed. John said that Mary likes himself is wrong as different room so binding blocked. Second, C command emerges. John's brother likes him is wrong as John does not C command him. Third, hierarchical thinking. Reflexives, pronouns, and names obey structure, not linear word order. This hierarchical view became the backbone of modern GB. Now let's discuss the second work, Rules and Representations from 1980, From Rules to Principles. By 1980, Chomsky realized transformational grammar was exploding. Each new language required new transformations, creating a rule labyrinth. Linguistics risked becoming just a catalog of exceptions. Rules and representations changed the game, shift from ad hoc transformations to general principles. Introduced representational grammar, focus on mental structures, not only surface rules. Explained language acquisition in children, minimal input, maximal output. Chomsky treated grammar as a mental organ. Just like the heart grows naturally, grammar emerges innately. It's biologically grounded, modular, and universal. Move alpha, the revolutionary simplification. Move anything anywhere, subject to constraints. This replaced dozens of specific transformations: passive, raising, question formation, dative shift. Examples. Old way. Passive, John was seen by Mary. Question. What did John see? New move alpha framework. What did John see? Is correct. Islands prevent illicit movement. What did John meet the man who wrote? Is incorrect. He didn't discover these islands, linguists knew about them since the 60s. Chomsky claims that children acquire syntax they never hear, proving innateness of grammar. This book turned linguistics from studying sentences to studying the mind itself. Now let's discuss early MIT lectures, the secret blueprint. These lecture notes were not polished books. They were raw, experimental, and bold. Inside them, Chomsky quietly sketches, for the first time, the core modules of government and binding. These include case theory A, proto-version, theta theory, the beginning of argument structure, bounding theory. Government, binding which, developed further. The idea of modular grammar. The architecture of GB. These lectures are where GB takes actual shape. Detailed breakdown. First, case theory, proto-concept, children know. Him likes she, is wrong but he likes her, is right. Why? Because English pronouns receive case. The lecture notes propose that nominative is assigned by inflection. Accusative is assigned by verb. No NP can remain caseless. This becomes a pillar of GB. Second, theta theory. These lectures also introduce thematic roles formally: agent, patient, experiencer, theme. Example: Mary gave John a book. Mary is agent, John is goal, book is theme. This ensures every argument has a role, and every role must be assigned. This principle becomes the future theta criterion. Third, government, which is the new structural glue. Here, Chomsky defines proto-version: X governs Y if X is the head of a phrase that C commands Y and no barriers intervene. Example: John's picture of himself. Whether himself is licensed depends on whether N governs its complement. This is a foundational moment, pure GB. Fourth, bounding theory emerges. Movement cannot be free. It is limited by bounding nodes, early form, NP. S. Example: who did John wonder whether Mary saw? Is wrong. The MIT notes use such examples to show illicit long-distance movement. This is basically GB before GB. What these notes achieve: for the first time, grammar becomes modular. Syntax becomes principled. Movement becomes constrained. Structures become governed. Interpretations become systematic. The notes are the birth certificate of GB. The Quiet Revolution. 3 manuscripts. 1 year. A complete shift in how we think about language. On binding built the rules of reference. Rules and representations unified transformations and constraints. The MIT lectures outlined the architecture of a modular grammar. Together, they lit the fuse that became government and binding. And from GB, came minimalism. And from minimalism, our modern understanding of human language. This wasn't just a shift in syntax. It was a shift in how we understand the human mind. Visit our website for amazing related information. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, and share.